What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also to ask me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thanks everybody for support. This video is entitled, How Will History Look at Feminism? I got a comment on a video, and a young lady had this feminist ideology, and I was listening to some things that were online while I was working today, and I started thinking, like, I don't think people who are in modern day feminism think about how they will look in the future. So I'm proposing, how will it look in the future when they look back at this era? And I don't think they're going to look at it too highly. The reason I say that is because it reminds me of racism in this sense. When you're in the moment of certain things happening, everybody's like, oh, they make a million excuses. 10, 20 years go by. That's what we was doing. Like, even though you're doing some dirt, that's how it's looked at. And when I look at feminism, it's like the same thing. It's like, do y'all actually think that this is going to be looked at in a positive manner? And I just can't see it, because I don't see this modern wave of feminism doing anything positive for society. I mean, they want to empower women. I dig that. But what these women are doing with their quote-unquote empowerment, I mean, are we going to look at the slut walk as, like, is the slut walk going to be looked at in retrospect like, oh, that was awesome? At the same time, in the same actual year and time period as the Me Too movement. That dichotomy, is history going to look at that like, wait, so slut walks and Me Too was at the same time? How modern day feminism in some ways tore up the family structure because of no fault divorce and irreconcilable differences and whatnot. And and women filing for the bulk of divorce is like 80%. So women want to be empowered and getting married and filing for, I think, 80% of the divorces during this era is going to be a problem. Coupled with the fact that, when women are the quote unquote breadwinners and they wind up, how can I say this, paying alimony, then they say something's wrong with that, but when at the same time they're cheering on men paying them alimony, and spousal support in the same era, it's gonna be like, I don't see any positive spin on that. I'm the mother and the father era, and how kids are parenting in itself, even under that paradigm, is not going in a positive direction and hasn't been going in a positive direction because of feminist ideology. The intermingling with the LGBT community and intersectionality, I don't see how that's with necessarily female empowerment completely, because there are men involved. Um, I don't. I think that's going to be a confusing point in history. Uh, I mean, you just got to go there. The lack of wanting empowerment without wanting to actually build your own infrastructure. I don't think that's going to be looked at in a positive light in the future. Uh, I just don't see it. I think the rising education that women are getting, which is dope, but also coupled with the rising debt, is gonna ask if there was was the trade off worth it. I'm not gonna say it was a bad thing, but was the trade off worth it? Um, I don't see the benefits in that, right? Also, the political agendas don't really seem to work out for the totality of people. I don't see how that's going to help society with the feminist agenda, even with our current president, because I think that's going to go into it also with men being toxic and toxic masculinity, and the current President Trump. I keep saying current, but President Trump's administration, and the grabber by the comment, and then like 60% of white women voted for him to be president over Hillary. And it's going to be interesting because just that dynamic of it in history where, women didn't vote for a woman candidate, and they voted for a male, a white male under patriarchy, right? Who said openly he would grab a woman by her. You know what I'm saying? I don't think history is going to look at feminism as quite glowing as people think. Just saying. Now, some of the other things are like the imagery of this ideology, like they're walking around with cat suits and dildos like Nicki Minaj, and the dyed hair and the sticking your tongue out, and the hypersexuality, coupled with the lack of intellectuals, the taking on ideologies that are not even true. And here's the other thing. The amount of dysfunction that when feminists get together and men aren't involved and men aren't in the room, that they just bring on themselves. I don't think history is going to look too kindly at that, because guys don't have to be around and these women are just out of it. Like, people, it's not going to work. The doubling back, like the Mayor de Blasio's in New York's wife. People forget, like 20, 30 years ago, in either Ebony or Essence, she wrote why she was an open lesbian, and then 20, 30 years later, she's married with kids, and which is a problem. I think Jamila Lemieux did something not like that, but something like she don't like men, blah blah blah, and she wound up a single mother. And I forget. I think it's Amber Phillips who did the thing about the birth of a nation thing. Or it wasn't Amber Phillips. It was somebody like that who was talking about what the movie was about and depicting with another woman who was in the movie and said, no, that's not a scene in the movie. But she ran with the ideology. And the reason I bring this up is because society has always studied its past mistakes. And I think there's far more negative depictions of feminism that were completely in the hands of feminists to control, but they just dropped the ball on that. So I don't think, and it's more negative out there publicly and online, and that can't be just, deleted from the internet than there is positivity. Oh yeah, and the other thing before I go, all these missing black girls that feminists don't care about. I'm just saying. I don't think it's going to look well. I'm done now. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.